laying bare the narratives of the city.
Along our way, we, the Mist Guides, document rapid changes and truncated histories.
Speculating on imagined spaces and lost futures.
A historical tour.
A fictional performance.
A virtual navigation for mistguides.com.
The walking body becomes a way to measure and generate unique and ever-changing experiences of the city. To us, the Mist Guides, rapid transformations in the city that are measured in architectural and monumental forms become triggers for another more urgent movement, that of human beings. As we stray from the beaten path, the city is transformed from an object to an active form, from an image to be seen,
from sea to sky,
to a lived experience. The city becomes a process through which we develop an understanding of the land, of our relationship to it, and to each other.
Please be aware that you are each responsible for yourselves and your belongings. We are about to engage in a 1-hour walk and exploration of the city. Pay careful attention to your surroundings at all times. Through mindful walking, we will attempt to build an awareness of our bodies as we move through city spaces.
As we move, our bodies trace untold stories with each pace. Pay special care to outs and ins. This walk won't end where it begins.
Contemporary Canadian curator Barbara Fisher spoke recently at UBC. She described the practice of curating as being a process of piecing together fragments that do not otherwise belong together, of drawing connections or links between them. The role of the curator is then to piece together a sundered past, making it more meaningful for a present time. Citation 1.
With this in mind, we will embark on something like this curatorial practice. During this walk, we will focus on the theme of ruins. We will be looking not only at what lies before us, but engaging our imaginations and memories in order to uncover what has been hidden, or what came before. We will attempt to locate the connections between these fragments.
So let's begin by asking ourselves what ruins are. So close your eyes. What do you imagine when you hear this word? Ruins.
Ruin literally means collapse, but actually ruins are more about remainders and reminders. Ruins make us think of the past that could have been and the future that never took place, tantalizing us with utopian dreams of escaping the irreversibility of time. Ruins give us a shock of vanishing materiality. Suddenly our critical lens changes, and instead of marveling at grand projects and utopian designs, we begin to notice weeds and dandelions in the crevices of the stones, cracks on modern transparencies, and rust on the discarded blackberries in our ever more crowded closets. Citation 2.
8 months ago, when we began planning this walk, we chose the SkyTrain construction site on this very spot as our first stop. At the time it was a hole in the ground, but soon it will hardly seem an obvious choice for a discussion of ruins.
As someone once said, Vancouver will be a beautiful city when it's finished. Citation 3.
Vancouver's in a constant state of self-improvement, perhaps because people here have nowhere else to go.
Terminal City is also the name given to Vancouver as the endpoint of the Canadian Pacific Railway, an epithet that can signify both the liberating promise of the new that lurks beyond the horizon of the known, and the dismal objections and disillusions of a culture that has reached the end of the line. Citation 4.
Okay, now before we get too caught up in all this theoretical jargon, let's remember what we're doing here. We are a walking collective. We're trying to promote an awareness of the active body. So I'd like to try a little experiment, and maybe some of you have done this before. If everyone could just grab a couple of these. Earplugs. One thing I'd like to say before we start walking is just, if you've never done this before, you might feel a little bit off balance when you first put them in. So just take it slowly, one step at a time, as they say. And we're going to do a little practice walk first. So what I want you to do here is just be aware of your body. Just notice what's happening to your body. Notice what's happening to your body as we're walking.